All right, so let's talk about the different brow patterns. Let's talk about the Asian brow pattern. And when I say Asian, I don't mean Asian. There are a lot of people, Hispanics, Asians, Indians, like there's a lot of people who have this brow pattern. It's probably the most common brow pattern that you will see. And I think probably about 90% of my clients have the Asian brow pattern. And the remaining clients have the European pattern, which I will go over with you. But basically, the Asian brow pattern looks like this, okay? And I don't know if you can see it that well, but I'm going to go over here. I'm going to take this over to my Procreate. And open up Procreate. Okay, so the Asian brow pattern, the distinction between the Asian brow pattern and the European brow pattern is that the Asian brow pattern has a spine, okay? And when I say spine, it's there. It's kind of like this imaginary line, but you can see it. But it's basically where, do you see how the beginning of the hairs here? They go up, 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 it curves. And then you see it kind of curve into this thicker part of this hair here. Okay, so this is the area where the hairs meet, and then the hairs over here, they go down this way. The hairs here go up, they curve into this spine, and then the hair here go down, and this is called the tail hair is what I call it. Okay, so this is the head strokes up here, then this is the body of the brow. These are the body strokes. Okay, and then this is the imaginary line, imaginary spine, okay? So I'm just gonna mark it here, this imaginary spine. Okay, you see it in pink. This is where her spine is, okay? So when you have her brows mapped out, I like to also mark the spine because it makes it easier for me. So when I begin creating her brow pattern, I can follow that spine, okay? So now I'm going to show you how to create the Asian brow pattern. I'm going to go to another app. I have so many apps, but here is my brow outline. Okay, I am going to create that imaginary spine. Let's go over here. Let me find that dotted line one here. So here's the dotted line. I'm just going to use this as my imaginary spine, and I'm going to just create another layer so I can hide this later. Okay, and I'm going to change the color into this color. So I'm going to create my imaginary spine right here, okay? And the spine is different for every client. Some clients start right here, some start, you know, right here, some start over here. So it, you know, every client is different. That's why I do that free flow pattern, because once you understand the pattern of the Asian brow, you can basically adjust it to each client. Okay, so for today's exercise, I'm going to go ahead and just create the spine right here. I'm going to go down like this. All right, so this is my pattern. This is my eyebrow outline with my spine marked. All right, I'm going to create a new layer. So now I'm going to start my head strokes. And I'm going to choose this one. I'm going to choose a bright color so you guys can see. So I'm going to start my head strokes, okay? So this is the beginning of the brow. And normally the very first stroke, I normally start it about 3/4 down. So about right here is where I start my stroke. Okay, so I'm going to go here like that. And then my next stroke, I'm going to space it out probably about 2 millimeters. And I'm going to go up 2. And you can go up a little bit past the outline, that's okay. Because normally when you do this on a client, the strokes, when they heal, they shrink a little bit. So it's okay to go past the outline, okay? All right, and then I'm gonna go and make my third stroke. And I try to keep the distance between from here to here and here to here the same. You want the distance to be the same. It just looks more pleasing to the eye, okay? It just looks better. So I'm gonna do another stroke right here. I'm gonna go up and I'm gonna curve like that, okay? Now my fourth stroke is normally where I transition into the spine. So this stroke here, I'm gonna go and I'm gonna go here and I'm gonna transition into the spine, okay? So that is the beginning of my head strokes. So I'm gonna go ahead and just pick another color. And now I'm going to finish my body strokes, okay? So I'm gonna go in and I'm going to do the same distance. Like that. And you wanna curve it with the spine, okay? You don't wanna go up like this, because that's just not curving it with the spine. You want it to look, you want everything to kind of curve. From here to here, the distance is the same. I'm gonna go here, oops, sorry. I'm gonna go from here to here. Okay, and then I'm gonna keep on going until I've hit that, okay? So that is those are my body strokes, my head strokes, and then my body strokes, okay? So now I'm going to turn it around and I'm going to finish off my tail strokes. So how I do my tail strokes is I normally start it about right here. Okay, about right here is where I start. And I want to draw the stroke and have it go down. I'm gonna have it go down like this. Okay, where it's meeting down and through here. It's meeting the spine in a very nice V pattern, okay? I don't want to do this because that looks weird. That doesn't look good. That looks like a fish braid, okay? You don't want fish braid. You want the strokes to go and meet very elegantly into a tapered V, okay? So I'm gonna go from here to here. I'm gonna go down like that. And then I'm gonna go from same distance. I'm gonna go from here to here like that, here to here. Okay, so you now have a skeleton to work off of. And I do this for every single client. My very first pass, I create the skeleton, because then after you create the skeleton, you can go ahead and wipe it and you don't have to worry about losing your shape, okay? So the skeleton is very, very important. So once I've created my skeleton, I can begin filling in the rest of the strokes. So I'm going to finish off my head strokes. So let me choose this color. And what I do is I can put a stroke in between these two. I start about right here. I curve it and I kind of meet this like that. Okay, do the same over here, and you're gonna try to meet that. You're gonna meet that spine. Okay, you're not gonna go and you're not gonna do this. Okay, that just doesn't look right. You're gonna curve it with a spine. Okay, then you're gonna do the rest of it. You're gonna curve it with a spine. Curve it with a spine like that. Then over here. Okay. Now you're going to do the tail. So here is the start of your first stroke for your tail. I go in between this stroke and this stroke. I put it in the middle of here, and oh, it does that. Move this so okay. So I go in between here and I go and I put a stroke right there. Do you see how I did that? I can do another one right here. So between here and here, I put another stroke, and I kind of go down into a V pattern, meeting this stroke right here. Okay, and then I do the same over here. Okay, so you got those strokes, and then now you can start filling in a little bit more. So I have some space right here. This is a huge gap right here. So I can start right here, and I can go down here, and have a gap right here. So I can go here, and I can do that. So I have a gap right here. So I'm gonna go from here, and do it again here. and do it again here. Okay? So if you see more gaps, you can add some more strokes, but I think that's pretty good. I might add a little stroke right here because there is a little bit of a gap. Nah, I'll just leave that. Okay, so now I still see some gaps. So I have a gap right here, I have a gap here. I've got a gap right here that I gotta get rid of, okay? I gotta add some more to it. So I'm going to do a different colors, do green, and I'm just gonna add in the strokes, okay? So here's here, from here to here. Okay, from here to here, maybe I do one right here, but I curve it in a little bit, okay? And then right here, there's a gap. There's a gap right there. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add another stroke right here. And do you see how it's a nice, it's meeting that spine into a very nice V shape, okay? You could even add little strokes right here. I see something here that I could add in. So I could do like a little one right here. I'm meeting the spine. Okay, maybe one right here, you know, another one right here. Okay, so that is it. That is the Asian spine. Now, there is also something else that you can add, which is down and through here, there are some gaps. So you can also add a little stroke. You can add, I can add it right here, a little stroke right there. And then I can do it one right here, just a little tiny stroke to kind of fill in that little gap that you see. And then another one right here. And then maybe one right here. Okay, so that is the Asian brow pattern. I want you to go ahead and do that on your homework, create that pattern and send it to me. I'd love to see how yours look, okay? So that is the Asian brow pattern. Let me go back and talk about the European pattern. So the European pattern is different because unlike the Asian pattern, there is not going to be a spine, okay? You can see all the hair strokes kind of go up. They go up like this and they all curve. And remember up here how the Asian pattern, it kind of, there's some hairs that go down. This person doesn't have it. So she's got the European pattern. All of her brow hairs curves up, 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 up. This over here is called brow lamination. And basically they're just making even more dramatic. And you can see here when they brushed up her brow, there is no spine. This is the European pattern, okay? So I'm gonna teach you how to do that pattern. We are going to go back into this app and I'm just gonna hide all of that and hide that spine. Okay, so this is the new outline. I'm going to add a new layer. All right, European pattern is actually pretty simple, super easy. All you gotta do is that first head stroke. Remember, it's about 3/4 of the way down. I go up like this. And then do your other stroke. It's very similar to the Asian pattern, the first head strokes. Just go up, up like that, go up, and that's all you're gonna be doing the whole brow. You're just gonna go up, okay? Okay, and then you're just gonna go all the way through the brow like that. Okay, so that is the start of your spine. And if you had a client come in with this pattern, this is the first pass. This is what you do to keep the shape, okay? After you have this, then you can go on and do your fill strokes. So now I am going to add a stroke in between here and maybe I'll go up like that. Okay. Okay, then you can add, you know, fill in the gaps. So here I have a gap right here. I'm going to add this little stroke here. I have a little gap here. I'll just add this in. And then I have a gap here, add that there, and then that looks good. And then I have these bottom gaps, so I can go in and I can add a little stroke like that. Okay, so there you have it. That is the European pattern. It is super easy. I want you to practice creating this pattern in your workbook, and I also want to see your homework on that, okay? If you have any questions, message me and I'll answer them, but that is pretty much it for your homework. I just want you to practice drawing brow shapes, and I want you to practice your Asian pattern and your European patterns, and I am looking forward to seeing your homework.